Hello YouTube, and welcome to the DBTGAMER Show, episode 203. Now, when I was a lot younger, I was a big fan of a video game company called Rareware. I really enjoyed Diddy Kong Racing. I really liked Banjo-Kazooie. I really enjoyed Banjo-Tooie, its sequel, which in some ways was better than the original, my personal opinion. And I also enjoyed Donkey Kong 64, although I found this game to be rather complicated because it had a lot of collectibles. And a game that I found absolutely hilarious was Conker's Bad Fur Day. All the adult humour, raunchy jokes, and pulp cup joke references were just great. I really enjoyed this game. Next came GoldenEye, which I really liked. This was my very first-person shooter, and to this day, I still think it's one of the best first-person shooters ever made. I really enjoyed this game. And then came its spiritual successor, Perfect Dark, which is also a really good game. And I also like the sci-fi twist with the aliens. And then there was this third-person shooter called Jet Force Gemini, which was like a adventure sort of game where you can explore planets and collect stuff and shoot alien ants. A little bit confusing when it came to collecting all the things, but overall, a great game. And the final game that Rareware made for Nintendo was Star Fox Adventures. Now, a lot of people see this as a black sheep sort of game, and a lot of people don't like it, but personally, because I like Zelda, and because I like Star Fox, this game, in my eyes, is actually pretty good, and it's a shame it doesn't always get the respect it deserves. Soon after Star Fox Adventures was finished, Rareware was bought by Microsoft, and as soon as Rareware got bought by Microsoft, I was pretty much done with the company because all the games were on consoles that I was owning, and the ones that I saw on the Xbox 360 and the original Xbox didn't really appeal to me, and I was not prepared to spend extra money on buying an Xbox just so I could try these games out. They just didn't seem worth the money for me. Apart from one small exception, which nobody seems to reference these days on the internet, and I think it's a shame because this game is quite good. Banjo-Kazooie Grunter's Revenge. As a portable Banjo-Kazooie game, this is actually a pretty good game. It's definitely worth trying. Now, after a while, the Team Rareware, when they were working for Microsoft, a lot of the workers got frustrated and annoyed with how they were being treated by Microsoft, not being able to create certain games that they wanted to create, or not being able to create certain games in a certain way. So, naturally, these frustrated employees left Rareware. And that's why the Rareware that is currently owned by Microsoft is not the studio it once was. And eventually, those workers who used to work at Rareware, who left, got back together and created a new game company called Playtonic Games. And when I heard about this whole Playtonic Games thing, a little beacon of hope, sort of lit up in my head. I was like, yay! Rareware's back! Everything's gonna be great! I can't wait to see what they make, and I can't wait to play it. In today's review, I am going to talk about Yooka Laylee. Let's see if this game lives up to all the hype that has been built around it, and let's see if it takes us back to our childhoods and lets us relive our...
Right, let's start with the story of this game. The story of Yooka Laylee, it's pretty good. At the beginning of the game, Yooka and Laylee are sat next to their pirate ship just hanging out. Meanwhile, an evil character called Capital B has built a giant vacuum cleaner and attached it to the roof of his business building, and he's using this vacuum cleaner to suck up all the books in the world so he can sell them and make money off them. And he also sucks up Laylee's book, and Laylee's book is very special. It has magical powers which could potentially be used to rewrite the entire universe, and Capital B wants to use this book to shape the world and change it so that the world works better for him. This is obviously very bad news. It is Yooka and Laylee's job to free the pages from Capital B's evil captivity. Overall, I thought the story was pretty good and quite funny. Next, let's go to the graphics of the game. I thought the graphics for Yooka Laylee were great. Now, throughout this review, I am showing the PS4 version. There are other versions of the game out. There's an Xbox One version, a PC version, and also in the future, a Nintendo Switch version will be coming out. The best version of this game right now is definitely the PC version, so if you can get the PC version, I would go for that. Now, overall, I thought the console versions of Yooka Laylee were pretty good. Now let's go to the controls for the game. The controls for Yooka Laylee, they are pretty good. Throughout the game, you meet a character called Trouser the Snake, who will teach you every move that you need to know in order to beat the game. And the tutorials work pretty well, and they are quite good. Now let's go on to the music of the game. The music of the game, it's pretty good. I didn't find it as memorable as Banjo-Kazooie in parts, but overall I thought it was pretty good. My favourite music track was in the swamp level. I found myself humming this track whilst I was at work a few times. It was that good. Now let's talk about the gameplay of the game. The gameplay of the game, it's a 3D platforming adventure sort of game, and I love these sort of games. And I was really enjoying Yooka Laylee throughout my playthrough. Throughout the game, there are 6 levels to explore. You've got the hub world, tribal stack tropics, the ice world, the swamp world, the casino world, which I didn't really like, to be honest, and my favourite world, the space level right at the end. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is the world expansion mechanic in Yooka Laylee and my experiences with it. When I first walked into Tribal Stack Tropics, the first world of Yooka Laylee, I found it to be pretty enjoyable just exploring the small version of a level. And then I walked out and thought, I know, I'll just explore the hub world some more. I discovered that you could stand on tome page pedestal and expand the worlds. Once I left the first world, went to the second world, and I already had enough pages to unlock the level and expand the level at the same time. So the whole idea of the expanding the world mechanic is that you're supposed to go in, explore it in small version first and then expand it, but 9 times out of 10 I opened the world and expanded it both in one go because I wanted to go in there and collect everything possible. Now let's talk about the good stuff in Yooka Laylee. First I want to talk about the levels. I really liked Tribal Stack Tropics, it was pretty enjoyable for me. The next level, the ice level, I thought this level was pretty good, but I got lost quite a bit. This is where I would have liked some sort of warp path system to get to certain parts of certain worlds more quickly. And the third world, which was the swamp level, I really liked this world as well, but when I was trying to mop up the last collectibles, I found myself getting a little bit lost, and I couldn't exactly remember where the arcade machine was, or where the area was where you transformed into the piranhas. So yeah, I felt that that level could have done with some sort of warp pad system as well. Now, as for the 4th level, Capital Kashima's Casino, or whatever it's called, when I first walked into this level, I thought, okay, it's a casino level with multiple mini games that you can play. This seems interesting, seems kind of fun. But the more I played the level, the more I got frustrated and the more I got annoyed. The casino level has several glitches, and I will talk about more of my frustrations towards the end of the review because, oh boy, what a glitchy level. And now on to the final stage, the space level, which overall is my favourite level in the entire game. I just love the setting and all the space themes in it. A really great stage. And now, as for the hub world, I thought the hub world was pretty good, but it could have benefited from a warp pad system because at certain points in my playthrough I felt like I was getting a little bit lost, and getting back to certain areas in the hub world did take me quite a long time since I was most of the time on foot or rolling around or flying. Now, my feelings on the world expansions are as follows. First world. So I went back inside and explored more, and it added like a new area with like the Shovel Knight challenge and a few more areas to the world, which I thought was a pretty good idea. The second world I thought was okay, although the isometric palace expansion area I found to be a little bit confusing because of you had to go a certain route in order to get through it, otherwise you were sent back to the beginning, just like the Lost Woods in Zelda, which was rather frustrating. But other than that, the second world expansion was okay. The third world, it made this one really big and quite confusing for me. This is one reason why a warp pad mechanic would have really helped with the game. Fourth world, it was alright, whether it was small or not, small or expanded. The fifth world I thought was pretty good, and it got even better when the world expanded because there was more planets to explore in the space world itself. So overall I thought the expansion mechanic was pretty good. Throughout the game you can collect these things called Platonics. Now basically these are kind of like the cheats in Banjo-Kazooie, where you can make certain things easy for you in the game. One of the best ones that I found was it gave you an extra butterfly so you had more health. Another one I found that was really useful, it made the roll move last longer, and I also liked the one which made the power up meter replenish faster. So I found the Platonics really useful. Next, let's talk about bosses. Throughout the game there are 6 bosses in total. The first boss, I found it pretty frustrating because of the rolling logs, and it wasn't really that much fun. Boss number 2, the giant ice monster who tries to freeze you with ice. I thought this boss was pretty generic, and it was also very similar to the first boss, and it took me a very long time to beat this boss, and I also found it really frustrating, so I wasn't a big fan of that one. Now, thankfully the third boss in the swamp level was much better. I really liked the octopus boss and the way you had to defeat it by attacking its eyeballs or jumping on its tentacles and ground pounding them. It was a really fun boss. Now we get on to the fourth boss in the casino level, which was a robot on a track, and you had to use the minecart in order to defeat it by shooting cannonballs at it and jumping over obstacles and all that sort of stuff. I found the fourth boss to be really frustrating. It took me a really long time to beat. Apart from the final boss, the fourth boss was the last boss that I actually had to beat because it was so frustrating. Now, as for boss number 5 in the space world, I found it to be pretty good. It was pretty enjoyable. Now, as for the final boss, Capital B himself, I thought it was a really good boss fight. It was really well thought out. It reminded me a lot of the original final boss fight from Banjo-Kazooie, and all the different characters and how all your moves that you've learned throughout the game all must come together in order to defeat this formidable foe. The next thing I'll talk about in the game are the transformations. Throughout the game you can be transformed into different animals or objects. The first one is a giant plant. I thought this was okay, and it was only used at like 1 or 2 pages in the first world. The second transformation in the snowplow, I found this difficult to control, and it was frustrating, but most of the time it was okay. The third transformation, the piranhas. I thought the piranhas was a really fun idea. Just the idea of being a swarm of piranhas and being able to eat things and slip into small pipes and that sort of thing. I found it to be a really fun sort of way to traverse the water in the swamp level. Now, the fourth transformation, the helicopter. I thought this was a really good transformation when it came to exploring the casino level, and also if you know what you're doing, there are some interesting glitches that you can pull for this helicopter transformation. Overall, I thought the helicopter transformation was pretty good. Now on to the final transformation, the pirate ship transformation. I thought the pirate transformation was really inventive in all the different types of ammo it could shoot out and attack enemies with, and also you could use all these different types of ammo to solve puzzles in the main level itself, and I thought that was a really good idea, and I had a lot of fun playing around with pirate ship. Now let's talk about the collectibles in the game. In each level there are 25 pages to collect, which are obtained by doing certain challenges in the game. Throughout the game, in order to earn pages, you must do certain challenges. Example, collect all 200 quills, beat the arcade game again with the high score, and beat Kartos' minecart minigame. There's also several other challenges like fly through these hoops, collect all these tokens in the bloody casino level, which I did not really enjoy that gimmick, and there's like collecting a certain item for a certain character. Example, Shovel Knight loses his gem, so you go find said gem and then you get the page from Shovel Knight. So overall, I thought there was a pretty good variety on things that you had to do in order to get pages. The next collectible are the quills. Now the quills, I have mixed feelings about the quills. The quills themselves, most of the time they're used to sort of like guide you through the levels so you can find more pages. Although sometimes they are hidden in really dickish places. Like I remember when I was playing Tribal Stat Tropics, I was searching through the stage, there was one quill that I find behind a structure, and I thought, this feels like it was put here on purpose so that you'd have one missing, but thankfully I managed to find it quite early on, so I didn't have this problem. I also found some quills later in the game hidden in blocks where you had to blow them up with the cannon from the pirate ship transformation, and I also found some that were flushed down some toilets, which were some of the last ones I needed to find, and they were somewhat frustrating to find in this respect. Overall, I thought the quills were pretty good. Another collectible I really liked was the butterfly health extensions. These were really rewarding when I found them. Also really enjoyed power extension meter, which was really great because at the beginning of the game you start with a very small power meter, and it's really great just to upgrade and get the bigger ones. There is one Rextra coin in each stage which lets you unlock the arcade game. There is one molecule which lets you unlock the transformation. And the final collectibles that you can find on the collectibles page are the 5 Ghost Riders. The 5 Ghost Riders are very similar to the Jinjos in Banjo-Kazooie. Basically you collect these and eventually when you get all 5 of them you get a pagey, but certain ones you have to incorporate a certain strategy in order to collect them. Example, the one with the big mouth that's pink coloured, you have to shoot a certain berry into its mouth before it lets you collect it. I found the Ghost Riders somewhat interesting in that way. There is one more collectible I want to talk about. That's the pirate treasure. If you look hard enough in some of the levels, you will find this crystal skull. There is one in each of the main levels, and they're hidden quite well. When I first found this collectible, I thought, ooh, this must be something super secret since it's not on the collectibles screen for each level. But it turns out when you find all of these, you just get some achievements. When I first saw these things, I thought it might be like the Stop and Swaps eggs in Banjo-Kazooie, and maybe there'll be something to do with the next Tectonic game. But as of now, as far as I can tell, they're just basic collectibles. The next thing I want to talk about is the power gauge. I thought the power gauge mechanic was actually a pretty good idea, because in Banjo-Kazooie you had to collect all these different collectibles like eggs, feathers, gold feathers, and lots of other things in order to replenish your inventory. The power meter I felt really streamlined the game, and it was quite good in that respect. Although I wish that the power meter would refill faster. There is a Platonic which makes it refill faster, but I think that the power meter should refill faster all the time, because waiting for the power meter to refill was not fun. But overall, I thought the power meter idea was a pretty good idea. Now I'm going to talk about the minecart challenges in the game. Throughout the game, you'll find this minecart called Kartos, and he'll challenge you to a minecart challenge where you must go on a track, collect gems, and shoot things and jump over things, that sort of thing. The first 3 minecart challenges I found to be pretty good and pretty challenging and enjoyable. The final 2 minecart challenges I didn't really like, and I found them to be really difficult, and also the 5th minecart challenge in the space world where they changed the physics because it's in space was also really frustrating. Now I'm going to talk about the Rextra arcade games. Throughout the game you find this gold coin with a play symbol on it. You use these coins to unlock the Rextra arcade games. The first 3 I thought were pretty good and I had fun playing them. But the one in the casino level I thought was too long and way too difficult. And I had the exact same problem with the final one, which was in the space world, too long and too difficult. Throughout the game you will meet several characters in the game. Some of the characters are funny and I quite enjoyed some of the jokes. One of the jokes that I remember was how Yooka Laylee was saying, can't you, the pagey, fit through the bars and just escape the cage? And obviously the page says, no, I can't. But to towards the end of the game, they basically use this joke again, and the page just slips out of the bars of the cage because the cage won't open. I just found myself laughing because it was just so funny and just so great. Another thing that I liked about this game that I found funny and charming was the ukulele rap. This video is available on YouTube and it's really quite funny. It's a shame that it was not put into the credits of the opening sequence, just like they did with Donkey Kong 64, but it's a delight nonetheless. So I pretty much overall enjoyed the humour of this game. Now I'm going to go on to my complaints.
Now on to my complaints. Yooka Laylee is not a perfect game. I really like this game, and when I was writing my review, I was really torn on what score to give it and how much to complain about the game, because I don't want to bash this game. I like it. But because I'm a reviewer, I have to be fair. So let's go to my complaints. Complaint number 1. Throughout the game, I feel that the game needed a warp pad sort of system. Some of the levels felt too big in some respects, and a warp pad system so you can get around the hub world and the levels would have made the game a lot more easy to navigate, in my opinion. Now, yes, there is the argument that you're supposed to search the worlds in their small version first and then expand them, so that on your first visit you know where everything is, and on your second visit, when you expand the world, you get around much easier. This idea kind of worked. I can see what the developers were going for, but personally I would have liked seeing a warp pad system so I could get around certain levels a little bit more easier. Another thing that I thought could have been handled better were the quizzes. Now, every time you finish a world, you will have to face off with a quiz master known as Quactos, and you have to answer 10 questions correctly. You do get like bonus questions which will give you more points, so you can get across the quiz board faster, and you are allowed to make up to 3 mistakes. Personally, I feel that these quizzes could have been better if they were put at the end of the game, like a giant quiz board like Banjo-Kazooie did, so you could use all the knowledge from the entire game rather than just little tiny bits of it. Also, major tip here, developers, don't use cheat questions. Example, how many quills do you have right now? How many Ghost Riders have you collected right now? How much time have you played so far? Those sort of questions, not fun, really difficult to answer, and just really frustrating. But the other questions like, where is this? Which character is this? What sound is this? They're perfectly fine. My complaint is some of the Rextro arcade games were rather frustrating and annoying. Some were too long and some were too difficult. Another thing that I found odd and also confusing was when you beat the arcade game for the first time, your high score does not matter at all. So, and then if you go into the arcade machine again, you can get a second pagey. But if on your first try you get the high score, you still have to play the game again and get the high score again in order to get the second pagey. I feel that in order to make this game better, they could even just patch this in if they wanted to. If you get the high score the first time, you should just get both pages right off the bat. That would make the game a lot more streamlined and a lot more enjoyable in my case, because some of the arcade games I found really frustrating and overall not fun. The next thing I want to talk about are the minecart minigames. Throughout the game you find these minecart minigames. The first 3 I found fun and challenging and enjoyable. Now, as for the last 2 minecart games, I did not find enjoyable. I found them frustrating, laborious, and very tedious. And also, in the final world, the minecart's physics are completely changed because the world is like a space-themed level and it's anti-gravity, which makes it even more difficult. So, yeah, I wasn't totally having fun with the whole minecart idea. The first 3 were fine, but the last 2 were a pain in the arse. And now onto my main complaint with the game. There is one level in this game that frustrated me to no end, and I am pretty sure that this level is broken at this point. Maybe they could patch it and fix it. I hope they do, because leaving the game in this state is inexcusable. So, the level I'm talking about is Capital Kashi Casino. This level has glitches up the arse. In my review, I actually showed some footage of me flying underneath a door, and then flying into a black abyss, and then flying around, and then actually being able to go underneath the level and basically glitch the entire game. There's also another glitch that you can perform if you use the helicopter, and in one of the carrying missions in that level, you can also glitch the game and go into the glitchy mess casino stage. The one glitch that I found that you may not believe, but let me just explain. I was collecting all the casino tokens in the level, and eventually I found that I was missing 10 casino tokens, so I was getting frustrated. I searched the level multiple times and I couldn't find anything. So I went on the internet and watched 2 YouTube videos on where every casino coin was. I followed both those videos to the absolute minute detail, and I found nothing. So I looked online and found a walkthrough on IGN of where the casino coins. Followed that to little, nothing. And then I found a thread on Game FAQs. Apparently a certain player had the exact same problem I had. Apparently there's a glitch in the game, whether you collect the coins in the wrong order or you collect the coins in the wrong way, certain coins can glitch out of existence and they become uncollectible. I don't know how this happened to me when I was playing the game, but it made the casino level uncompletable, which was really frustrating for me. Now, since I knew about the glitch where you could fly underneath the stage, I found a video online which said if you flew underneath the stage you could find the spawn point for the pages. So basically, in order to complete the Capital Casino level and get the 100% achievements and all the trophies, because that's why I like to do this game, I like to collect everything because that's just the way I like to play, I basically used the glitch to fly underneath the stage and grab my pager, and then I quit the level, which saved the game, and I had my final page for the world. Personally, I wasn't happy having to use a glitch to actually get what I wanted, but the fact that I'd already spent 50 hours on this game, and the fact that my casino coins had glitched out of existence, I basically had no choice other than either glitching the game or playing the game for another 50 hours and do it and hopefully get it right this time. But it was just really frustrating, and there's no guarantee that if I did play again that things would work properly anyway. Other glitches that people have found, apparently with the roll against several walls in the game, you can hammer the start button and actually glitch through walls. So, yay, another glitch. And one more glitch that people have found that basically breaks the end of the game, other than the flying button. You fly to a certain point in the game, and then just keep butt stomping yourself down. You can go underneath the hub world, and then fly underneath the hub world door to the final boss, and then fly up the elevator shaft and find and fight the final boss, and skip a big portion of the game because the final boss's door requires 100 pages in total collected to open the thing. So, as you can tell from these complaints, the game has several glitches that do need to be fixed. Some other reviewers have talked about how there are frame rate problems and camera problems in the game. My opinions on this are as follows. The frame rate at times I have experienced slowdown, which was somewhat jarring and at times frustrating. Now, as for complete lockups and camera problems, complete lockups I've experienced basically none. And camera problems, I think the camera's be good. It's not perfect, but it's be good. Now, there was a huge patch that was released on day one to fix a lot of the problems, and some reviewers have been bashing this game because they reviewed the game before it was patched. And Yooka Laylee is getting better and better as the game is patched, which is great news because I hate it when game developers don't finish things properly. Now, on to my score. Yooka Laylee, it's really difficult for me to decide a score, but for now, I think that Yooka Laylee is a good game, and it's definitely well worth buying and well worth playing. I give this game a 3 out of 5. Now, if all the bugs and glitches are fixed in this game, my review score will change to a 4 out of 5. Pretty good start for their first game as a new company, and just can't wait to see what they do next. Anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed my review of Yooka Laylee. See you guys in my next video.